Hello and welcome to the Maximize Your Smartsheet Experience webinar. My name is Mike Welly and I'm a sales engineer here at Smartsheet. Today we will be discussing the business impact of Smartsheet, demonstrating how we can achieve those impacts, and finally finishing up with a recap and some next steps how to get started with Smartsheet today. To begin, I'd like to talk about how work, especially at scale, has become complex. Over the past 20 years, each industry and business function has shifted, and so have the expectations for output and efficiency. Given the current state of the workplace today, why do we always revert back to our old habits of email, text message, and static documents to track and manage the work that we need to get done? These programs do not meet the volume, speed, and collaborative requirements of today's work environment. I'd like to shift that perception. In the first two pillars here, I'd like to address some process challenges. In the second two, I'd like to speak to how we could empower the workforce. First, I'd like to talk about how we can get real-time visibility into the work rather than sitting and putting together all that information into large slide decks that are out of date as soon as that static information is built. Rather, send people to a place where we can view work updates in real time. How about a place where we can centralize our content and context in the same place, rather than spending our time going around to all the different places where that work materials may reside? What if we could have that all aligned into the place we're actually tracking that work? Workflow automation is a huge opportunity, especially when opened up to the end user, to allow some of the more mundane tasks to be automated rather than having to go back into email and remember the conditions on which to send updates. What if we could automatically have those updates configurable by the end user? The final piece is platform flexibility. Shifting into a world where we can allow people to work as they'd like to work, rather than forcing them into systems that they do not want to use and will not use, thus compromising the data quality and reporting abilities. Before we jump into the demonstration, I'd like to showcase the old way of getting things done. If we can't tell within 5 seconds what is going on, how useful is this for making quick and informed decisions on our business? What version of it? Who edited it last? Where does it even live? Rather, what if we could view this information up to date and in real time? This is Smartsheet Sites. In this particular Sites dashboard, we have some high-level information which is automatically rolled up based on the information on the sheets below it. We also can consolidate that information into views such as this report here. We can tie that into timelines and also dive deeper into the KPIs of individual pieces from those actual project sheets. In this case, these are all highly configurable and easy to use. By clicking into it, we can see that we can add that data from the sheets that are within our Smartsheet account. These sites, just like everything in Smartsheet, are accessible both in the browser as well as in the iOS and Android apps. To get a deeper view into this visibility, let's look into why the overall health is red. Looks like that's coming from project 112. We can click on this KPI information to then deliver us into the actual project sheet. You can see from a visibility standpoint, we've rolled up the information based on this task being in a red status. Additionally, we have some conditional notification that have let us know that the end date may be in jeopardy. To get some more context as to why this may be a red status, we can look in the comments section and our threaded conversations that pertain to that particular task, as well as centralizing the documents relevant to getting that task done. Using our integrations with leading cloud storage systems, we can add in links as well as upload things directly into Smartsheet, allowing us to have versions that we can then download, update, and re-upload as a new version. All of this saving us time from having to go into those different systems and know exactly where to find that information. In this case, we need some external visibility to the contractor who may be working on this particular analyst report. We do not want to share him to the sheet because in this case, we have some critical budget information that is sensitive to this particular project. By creating an update request, we can send this to Mike, customize the information, and limit what he's going to see from the sheet. We do want him to see the attachments and comments, as well as the status that he'll hopefully be updating, the name, and some other pertinent pieces. We can set this on a delivery interval in case we want this update from Mike on a regular basis, but in this case, it will just be a one-time update. When we send this, Mike will receive an email, and he'll be able to see just that information and collaborate with us on the sheet without even having to know that it necessarily exists. You can see in the inbox here, Mike has received this update. And he clicks on the form to then see the information that we have shared. Aside from the commentary, Mike might talk with his team, change the status, submit the update, and then when we refresh, we expect to see that the analyst reports are now in a green state, rolled up to a green overall status, which is then reported back to the overall portfolio view. Because this is a collaborative piece here, we can share this out to different people at different permissions levels. Mike may be the owner in this case, and we may have other admins who have the full abilities to change columns and sheet structures, as well as viewers and editors who can change cells that are unlocked for them to be able to collaborate. Part of Smartsheet's ability to allow people to work the way they want to comes from the different views. If we'd like to view things in more of a traditional project management view, we can turn on the Gantt chart and see information based on a start and end date and any of the dependency information as well as status progresses. If we prefer to view things in a more traditional calendar view, we can view it across a 30-day calendar, allowing us thus to dive into the information to view the entirety of that row, or even to publish this information out into a link which we could subscribe to using our Outlook calendars. The final view, which is great for in-person meetings or triages, is our card view, which takes any of our pick list items and pivots them into swim lanes. Here we can see we have progress, status, as well as assignments, configurable into smaller, more manageable bite sizes that we can easily drag, drop, and then save, which would change those pick list selections back on our sheet. So next we will switch into a different sheet to talk a little bit about the automation piece with an approval workflow here in Smartsheet. Inside this sheet, we have a list of communications that need to be approved before we push them out to the general audiences. In this case, we have the project name, where it's going to go, as well as the manager who needs to do the approvals. We'll click here into the automations to configure how we want this approval to function. Inside the approval request, we will choose the status, which will then trigger that approval to be sent out. In this case, we want it to be in the reviewed stage, and we want the contact in the manager column to be the person performing the approval. In this setup, it will also create a new manager approval column that will give us visibility into when it's submitted and as to the decision whether it's approved or declined. By setting up these approval workflows, we can automate these actions rather than having to remember to send these out or track these people down using alternate means of communication. At the bottom here, we have some new pieces. So we will move this into a reviewed state, save, And when we refresh, we should expect to see that the manager approval has been submitted. Momentarily, Mike will receive this approval request in his inbox. Similar to the update request, Mike will receive a one-time web form with the pertinent information to making this approval. He'll make that approval. And then when we come back into the sheet, we would expect to see that Mike has approved the announcing May promotions communication. At this point, the person working in the sheet could then move on to the next step, and we could further automate or manage the work that's happening for that next particular step. Moving back into the slide deck, Smartsheet brings us a new way to collaborate at work, reducing chaos and empowering fast outcomes. We provide a highly valuable solution within a single department that works even better as a conduit for cross-functional visibility by adapting to any workflow type. Speaking of workflows, if we do need to bring information into or out of Smartsheet from other systems that may be critical to the running of your business, such as Jira or Salesforce, we do have native integrations which allow us to do so. On top of that, we tie in with leading cloud storage providers, as well as providing an ODBC connector for connecting with your favorite business intelligence platforms, as well as an open API to allow you to perform any development or tie into any external systems where integrations do not currently exist. Smartsheet is a true enterprise solution with the security and administrative controls that IT would expect and executives want. We play nice with some of the other mission-critical apps that companies are using today as a place where we can manage the work that's happening within these potentially siloed applications. At the end of the day, Smartsheet helps drive better business results for your company by enabling individuals to deliver their best work. We accomplish this by providing a platform designed to meet the needs of today's complex work environment. To answer any questions about our product functionality or best practices, we have a comprehensive help section within the application, complete with videos, training, and an active community. On top of that, if you'd like to get started with templates, we also have a searchable template gallery. If you've seen anything today that has sparked your interest, please do not hesitate to reach out to your Smartsheet sales representatives to discuss building a custom solution that fits your unique business needs. Thank you.